that I knew that this must be the right thing, because my anxiety went away and I was peaceful about it, and I was, you know, I felt like this was the right thing to do, and you know, this was for me the right thing to say.
Exactly. You are doing this for many children, and you know, so you know, the video that you put up, it was like yesterday, I believe.
Yes.
That was you know, that was a reality check right there. It is.
Well, the truth of the matter is that we are very familiar with some of those children.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was part of our life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of it is way worse than we had, but you know, there's some pictures I just look at and stop on and think, wow, I can't believe we made it through that.
Mm-hmm. So to make this very clear for the people, these pictures that you have shown in the video, you guys are familiar with such stuff. You were beaten like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know, I believe that, I don't necessarily believe that Sheren has changed. I mean, I called her, I think, in one of my comments, venomous civilian, because she is very nice, and she can be very sweet and loving and wonderful, and then she just changes. I mean, quickly she just changes. But, you know, for a long time, members of our family were like, oh, she didn't do that to you. I've never seen that side of her. And then she started showing them that side, and they, you know, they've apologized to us and said, you know, I'm sorry. A good example is about, it's been about 12 years now, actually, but when my mom wanted to convert to Catholicism, I didn't agree with it because, you know, they wanted to annul the marriage, and I was like, but we happened in the marriage, so, you know, but it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't fighting with her about it or anything like that. And they called my husband at work and told him that he needed to set me straight because he's the man of the house, and it's his job to make me see the way of the Lord, which was, I guess, their way. And he said, I'm not going to do that. And so she showed up at my house, and I think she was asking for some tapes back or something, and she started going off, and I said, okay, you need to leave now. And the more calm I was, the madder she got, and the more hateful things she said. And I have had 3 miscarriages, and that was 3 weeks to the day after the last one that I had. I have 2 children, but I've had 5 pregnancies. And she was telling me that God was going to punish me for what I'd done, which was not listen to her. Mm-hmm. And he was going to punish me, and he was going to get me. And then she told me, you know what? He already has punished you. That's why he killed your babies.
Can you repeat that last sentence again? Because I didn't hear it.
She said that God was going to get me, and he was going to punish me.
Yeah.
And then she said that God had already punished me because that's why he killed my baby. That's why he killed my babies by miscarriages.
Oh my.
And of course I was very upset. But, I mean, people just don't know what she's capable of. I mean, I wish there was, I just wish there was some magic saying that I could say to make people realize that this is truth. This is not a lie. This is real. This woman and this man are dangerous. They twist the word of God for their own thing. Mm-hmm. They go from religion to religion because, you know, if it doesn't suit their needs at the time, if you're following them, just do it. Just be informed. Know who you're following. Know what they're capable of.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think that's really important. I mean, if I go to church, I would want to know if my pastor was a child abuser or a child molester.
Exactly, yeah. The people have a right to know because, you know, John and Sheren are people that come here on YouTube pointing the finger at others, saying you are the criminal, you are the child abuser, and you know they accuse other people without any proof of that whatsoever, and yet their own children right now come forth testifying that they themselves have done all these things that they accuse others of doing. So
that's right.
The people have a right to know this, and you know, my goodness.
Yeah.
Telling you that you know that is God's way of punishing you. That, you know, my goodness, I cannot. I really don't. I don't even know what to say to something like this. You know, this woman is even more evil than I thought.
Well, you know, there are just so many things she's capable of when she's mad, and you know, I hear her screaming on her YouTube videos, some of them, and it's, you know, it's not nearly as bad as when we grew up with her, but it's still pretty bad.
You basically see the same spirit manifesting.
Yeah, not as bad. Well, she made a video, I think, called Judgment of Jezebel, and she's talking about how murderous Jezebels are gonna ultimately they're gonna get their head and hands and feet cut off, because those are the parts they use for evil.
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, my mother was very promiscuous with, as you know, my sister's boyfriends and my friends, and she did succeed in having sexual relationships with them. She did succeed in having a sexual relationship with my 17-year-old best friend. And, you know, I don't understand how, you know, you can be in the position you're in, like, this has happened to you, and yet you are so judgmental about the very thing that you have done.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
She, I don't know how many years ago it's been now. Toby, I believe, was probably about 13 or so, and we were in our house, and Toby was writing poetry because she used to do that, and Sheren said, go upstairs and do your homework. And Toby said, I don't have any homework. And she said, I told you to do what I said. And Toby said, well, I'll just stop writing because I don't have any homework. And she just attacked her. She pulled her by the head of the hair across the house. She was beating her profusely. I was scared for her, and they wound up in the kitchen, and Toby was on her back, like, on the ground on her back. And I don't know if you remember, but like old refrigerators had a big metal part across the bottom of them. Sheren reached down and pulled that piece off of the bottom of the refrigerator and had it above her head, fixing to start beating Toby. She would have killed her. She would have absolutely killed her. And Toby had the presence of mind because she didn't know what else to do. Sheren had it above her head, and she was fixing to hit her, and so Toby kicked. And, you know, she wasn't trying to hurt Sheren, but apparently she tore a ligament, and Sheren fell down, and we ran. And when my dad got home, we took her to the hospital or whatever, but we ran away. If Toby hadn't done what she did, that woman seriously might have killed her that day.
This goes, this goes very far, you know, to mess up a refrigerator, to get a tool to beat your own child. You know, it's
right. So
Toby had to fight for her life.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
How old was Toby when that happened?
I would say like 13, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
12. I'm not completely sure, but yeah, I think it was about 13. We lived in Missouri, and, you know, she just